Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Welcome to the Suzuka International Racing Course here in Japan for another edition of the CCRL Elite Tier. Looks like a pretty sunny day here. In Japan, should be a fantastic race. This 15 drivers of the grid should put together a good showing. So, anyways, let's take you through our starting lineup here for this Japanese Grand Prix. Starting at the back, it will be Curveball in the V car, Bong at 14th. Set his only lap on the medium tires. Onyote 13th, Owa 12th. It'll be Hemphead in 11th, Jabor beginning the top 10. Pontiac Bandit 9th, R. Manson 8th. 7th will be Miata. Or sorry, Mr. Milla. Sorry, why did I read that? Am I dyslexic? I must be. That's the McLaren of Mr. Milla in 7th. 6th will be Johnny Damon. He had a bit of a spin on his final attempt there. Merck in 5th. 4th will be King Pro Player. 3rd, DWCJ. 2nd, Charlie Golf. And then rounding out the grid, well, by about a whole second is that of Reimer in that Mercedes at the top spot. Take you through our constructors and driver standings. This is last week after the sprint to Imola. Mercedes, of course, still atop the table. 151 points clear of the Renaults and Alpine Renaults in second. The McLarens in thirds, the V-Carbs fourth, the Willys in fifth. They've actually moved upwards a little bit over the Red Bulls, who are down to sixth. Aston Martin seventh, Sauber eighth, Ferrari ninth, and the Haas in 10th. As far as the drivers are concerned, I will give you three guesses as to who's atop the... I'll give you three guesses as to who's atop the driver standings. You're right, it's Reimer. He's ahead of King Pro Player by 76 points. It'll be DWCJ 3rd, Merck 4th, Charlie Golf 5th, Curveball 6th, R. Manson 7th, DJ Flat 8th, 9th Pontiac Bandit, and 10th is John the Prince. Doesn't appear that any rain is on tap for today. Hopefully not. This track, one of the most storied and definitely respected circuits on calendar. It's got all sorts of different tricks of the trade that are needed to master this one. Very old style circuit, not a lot of overtaking. Probably going to be taking place. It's really going to be down to the skill of the drivers tonight, and well, not so much the skill, but I guess the winner of tonight's race is not going to be the one who's better. It's going to be the one who sucks less. That's really the way to describe it. Of course, we got some talented drivers on this grid, don't get me wrong, but goodness me, this track demands a lot out of these drivers. Absolute consistency, precision, and the focus all going to be there tonight, and not to mention having cars around you. That's when it gets difficult there, because obviously drivers get in a rhythm driving around kind of by themselves, but if you got drivers around you, you got to be looking around to making moves and whatnot. It does get slightly more difficult, so we'll have to wait and see if we do have some drivers caught out by surprise. And of course, you're on a broadcast with me, and we're having a good old-fashioned time here. Seems like a good opportunity to crack open a cold one with the boys. Oh yeah. I'll give you a solid high five if you can guess what I'm drinking tonight. And actually, that's a bit of an interesting thing. Anyways, 15 cars on the grid. Once again, assuming the strategies are going to be more or less the medium to hards, as we've seen throughout this game. But safety cars may get in the way. That is always something to think about here. As a driver, you got to keep that in the back of your mind. Especially if you're a driver atop the grid, like we're going to see Reimer and probably Charlie Golf today. You're a driver that leads the grid. You are inadvertently choosing the tire strategies for the drivers behind you because they're going to copy or play off of what you do. So it's always something to keep in mind. Just waiting for our cars to line up on the grid here, of course. No formation laps here in the CCRL, so once we see those lights, we will be going. Happy to be back on the call for you. This is round number... What is this? No rain forecasted from DWCJ. Thank you very much. About ready to go here, and there we are. Lights turning on here. Whoa, that one shut off. 4 and a 5 lights here in Japan. It's lights out and away we go, and I think Reimer's gotten away pretty halfway decently. Charlie Golf still to the inside. Little bit of shuffling about at the back. Charlie's going to tuck in behind Reimer on the way to that first corner. The two Alpines have swapped positions. We've got the McLaren of, who was that? Mr. Miller's gone quite wide there. He's side by side, and there's a V-carb in the middle of Pontiac Bend. Oh, he nearly got straight into the side of the wheelie there. That one was nearly poor. As they make their way through the S's and then up through Dunlop. Curve coming up now. Oh, look at King Pro Player on those soft tires. He's got a lot of grip down to the inside. And goodness me, he's taking Charlie Golf. Oh, they're side by side. Oh, he's in the wall. Oh, goodness me, and it's already happened. Both drivers into the wall on the inside. Front wings missing. Virtual safety car out on track. Oh, goodness me, that one is surely going to raise tempers here, because that one, well, it has to be said, although, in fairness to both of them, both battling for track position like that, they've gone side by side. There you are, that 13 to 16 for tires. They go side by side like that through the corner. One car gets unsettled, and, you know, sometimes your best option is to just kind of lean on the other driver and maybe try to be okay, but I don't know otherwise what's happened, but two cars, two principal performers, two potential players in this Grand Prix out of contention here relatively early on. Of course, still early days, but goodness me, and oh, look at this. Pontiac Bend is actually... Oh, look at this. We've got a hell of a stack up here. Several cars picking up 10-second penalties now. It's a big stack up between a couple of these fellas. I genuinely... This has gone very oddly now. What is even happening here? Oh, it's an absolute bottleneck. Going down the back straight, we got a car on the wall. Several bits of front wings are missing. As they make their way down the pit straight, Reimer leads the pair of the Alpines, leads Johnny Damon. Manson and Jabor are not that far away from each other, but goodness me, one of the most confusing and chaotic opening laps to a Grand Prix we've seen in CCRL this season. And they were coming up through Dunlop curve here, very easy for cars to get unsettled. Naturally, the vehicle wants to push to the outside. And I'm thinking, I really doubt anything was foul play there. They were just side by side. King Pro Player was on the softs. He did really well to be able to insert that car along the left side. And maybe was that car pushing out wide, and Charlie Golf had that line, and they kind of just simply got together there as Jabor's going to make it down the inside of R. Manson. And still side by side now, going through 200R. Wheel to wheel they go, heading into the spoon curve now. Jabor's going to have to back out of that one, I'm afraid, as R. Manson gets that spot. But for how long? So look at positions gained and lost. Merck up 3. Damon 2, Manson 3, Jabor 4, Bong at 7, and Bong has basically stayed out of trouble there. And has gotten the, well, he's played a good hand here as it turns out. Yellow flag, that's the Ferrari of Hemphead, who's gone around, going through Dunlop and then into the wall again, now missing even more front wing, in which he already did. And another virtual safety car on track, our second of the day. Wow, and that's just gotta be... I mean, just what a chaotic beginning to that Grand Prix. You just can't make that up, really. Two players that you really thought were going to have a huge impact in the back end of this race, and they've gone off almost immediately then. Nothing has been put in the Discord chat yet. I'm just waiting to see if and when the profanities fly. Unless it really is one of those situations where it's nobody's necessarily fault. Officially halfway through this season, next time out November the 6th, we head to Miami. Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Round 11, November 13th. The round 12, November 27th, we head to Singapore at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Those are your next 3. Actually, only 3 more after that. China, Baku, and then Belgium. Final 6 races of the season. I'm just wondering how much more Reimer and the Mercedes team needs to actually be clinching these championships, because they have been very much uncontested so far here this season. DRS re-enabled, back to green flag racing, actually, as Jabor, Bongit, and who is this? This is the V-Carb of Pontiac Bandit, as well as Mr. Milla entering this battle as well. 4 cars, all trying to bottle their way in towards 130R. Let's see if any moves are to be made. Pontiac Bandit's going to go for the inside here. Oh, and he's absolutely had a look. Of course he's had a look then. But I think he's done well to talk himself out of that. It was never making that. Jabor's going to go down the inside of our Manson. Remember, only just the one DRS section on this track, and it's not a very long either. Just the front straight. Bongit's going to try to take this one round the outside, and does. Meanwhile, Curveball and Agnote side by side. Curveball around the outside of the Red Bull then, up to 11th. Oh, that's a big slide there for Bongit. I've only just caught on to that, but now side by side, going up through Dunlop out of the S-curves, and Bongit may be overtaken by Pontiac Bandit here. Pontiac's going to have the left side. Mr. Milla's going to try to maybe find his way down the left side as well. He's not going to be able to have it this time. Maybe into the hairpin if he's got a good run. On the way into the hairpin. Nobody's going to get desperate this time and make a dive. Johnny Damon may have a look at DWCJ here shortly. It's two very close together, not to mention Merck. Not all that far ahead either. But who is getting farther ahead is Reimer. 2.5 seconds. Closer to 2 seconds over the pair of the Alpines here. I'm expecting either some blockage from the Alpines or Johnny Damon to have this one relatively easily, considering only just the one of them has... Actually, that's not true. Well, Merck's going to be the one caught out here. DWCJ has DRS. Johnny Damon will get the slipstream of one. Oh, that's good defending. And he's going to stay kind of in that middle. Damon's going to have to work for it. Oh, he slips on the curb. Beautiful way to catch it. Oh, but goodness me, that one. Well, good defending from the pair of the Alpines. Johnny Damon, in fairness to him, incredible save. But goodness me, he's nearly had that, and it's nearly all gone away from him. And look at this, 3 cars backed up into turn 1 there. Pontiac's going to get around Owa. Pontiac still under pressure from... Oh, and that's Owa into the wall. Missing a bit of the front wing as well. I don't think enough to warrant a virtual safety car here. Just the end plate on the right side. Unfortunate for him, he's not going to get the benefit of having the grid kind of neutralized there. Charlie Golf now fastest lap in the session in the mediums as well. By the way, I wanted to point this out. The majority of the grid actually did go to the mediums. We did have King Pro Player on the softs to begin. Now resides on the hards. I doubt he'll be able to take that the whole way, but still. Agnote's got a 10-second penalty. What that's for, I'm not necessarily sure. I have a feeling he was caught up in that rather weird situation coming down the straight here. After the virtual safety car on the opening lap. Let's see now if Johnny Damon will play a little bit less nicely this time. Still Merck ahead of him. DWCJ is going to be the one taking the fall. Flying in formation now, potentially the 2 Alpines. Merck has DRS. Damon closing fast. Merck's going to defend the inside. DWCJ holds his line. Johnny Damon, I had a little bit of a look around the outside there. Wasn't going to have the room. And now maybe, as they go through the S-curves, that's another snap of oversteer from Damon. Another good save. Something tells me he's got the anti-roll bars just a little bit too loose then. See, a lot of the times the drivers think about cornering. The first thing they will play with is the wings, but if you stiffen the anti-roll bars or loosen them, as Mr. Miller's going to make his way... Well, I think Bongit's actually made more of a mistake up, and there it is again. Oh, good save. Doesn't hit the wall. But most of the drivers, they'll think about doing setup changes. They'll think majority about the wings, when instead a lot of it sometimes is going to come down to the anti-roll bars, because what happens is you stiffen the anti-roll bars. That makes the chassis not roll as much with the turning of the corner. Therefore, it will have more of it. Oh, I was going to say an understeery effect. Merck is done. That car is spinning, and I don't even know. But Merck retires. Safety car not out on track. This one is staying green, which I'm a little bit surprised. It does stay green. And I hate to say it for Merck, that one looked to be all on his own error as well. So anyway, as I was rudely interrupted there. No, the anti-roll bar will limit the chassis roll going in through the turning phase of the corner, so it'll almost feel as if the car is more understeery. You know, the wings won't get the car. The wings will get the car around, but it will feel more smooth cornering rather than having to fight it and bite it as you go through. I'm thinking Johnny Damon has them a little bit too loose right now because that car snaps oversteer left and right. So the more he's trying to turn, the more the car goes with it. And if he makes a correction, that car actually does begin to fight him back, and that's really dangerous to play. So Merck's retirement there. Oh, well, that's DWCJ, and he's just hit the wall as well. Double dosage of disaster for DWCJ and the Alpines. Goodness me, I don't even know. Merck went off last time by DW. That was coming out of 200R going through the spoon curve. That's going into the spoon curve. That's a really odd place to have lost a car there. I could not tell you what's happened. But now DWCJ missing the front wing. He'll need to stop here. And he'll be losing several positions as well. Relatively quick race this. Only 27 laps to be had, and the relatively quick lap times as well. Fastest lap at the moment is it's a 1:30, but still. Some unfortunate turn of events there for the Alpines. Down the pit straight they go. Mr. Miller getting overtaken. Actually overtaking Pontiac Bandit there. As Owa's going to get round curveball, it seems. Making their way through the S's now. I think potentially that McLaren just looks a little bit more uncomfortable. We'll have to see. Up through Dunlop they go. Oh, that's a slide there for Pontiac. He's caught it well again. You'll have a lot of those going up through Dunlop, as we've seen a couple of times already. Degner 1, Degner 2. Under the bridge they go. Pontiac's too far behind to lunge for it, but one can only hope. So meanwhile, that means the top of the table, Reimer now has a 5.5, nearly 6-second advantage over Damon, who's got nearly 6 seconds back to Jabor, who's actually fighting Armanton here for that third spot. DRS will be activated for the Aston this time by. 130R they go. As Reimer fastest lap, 131.342. Pontiac Bandit 6/7 tenths of a second behind Mr. Miller. Into the Casio Triangle. Or, well, final corner. Final chicane they go. They go through the final corner and then down the pit straight. We'll see here if Pontiac Bandit will be able to make that move. As they go through the S's now, Jabor and Manson are separated by 6/10, but here goes Pontiac Bandit to the inside. Left out, break him. That car's going to push on the curb. Nearly went into the side of the McLaren, and now Miller's going to try to strike back on the right. No, he's not quite going to be able to there. That was almost disaster for Pontiac Bandit, because you could see he took a lot of the curb on the inside of the corner. That car got really unsettled. Nearly took Mr. Miller with him. That would have been one hell of an incident, that. Yellow flag, it's Bong-it. I think it had a slight off then. Mr. Miller, by the way, 4/10 of a second behind Pontiac Bandit. McLaren looks pretty good. I don't believe I've ever casted a race here of Mr. Miller, but it's getting a lot of screen time today. Good battle here with Pontiac. Heading down in towards 130R. I tell you what, that McLaren's got some pace to it. Oh, I think I don't know why he's backed off there. Did he think he was going to go back into the back of the V-carb? That was a little odd. Maybe did he think he could probably try to switch him up? Oh, his head loses it at the final corner. It's only a virtual safety car. Goodness me. Pontiac Bandit nearly drilled the back end. pause of Hemphead there. That car came to rest right in the middle of the racing line coming out of that final corner. Because the car, as you go through, naturally wants to push to the outside. I mean, let's go along with Charlie Golf here. I think he might be pitting. Well, yeah, he will. But that car naturally wants to push to the outside through that final corner, and that car was parked in a terrible, terrible position as Agnote drive-through penalty speeding under the virtual safety car, as well as Pontiac Bandit. Very unfortunate there as we have a yellow flag going through the S's. Pontiac Bandit, something's gone wrong with him. Four-tenths of a second. Agnote trying to catch up to Pontiac here. Of course, drive-through penalties, they'll need to serve that sooner rather than later. As Hemphead has left the session, we started with 15. We are now down to 14. Oh! As Jabor retires! Goodness me, it's one after another! He's lost it exiting the spoon curve, very similar to how Merck went off. Oh my god, it just keeps happening here. I mean, they're dropping about as quickly as Aaron Judge's batting average in the postseason here. Well, we started with 15. We're down to 12. Pontiac Bandit. Oh, wow, that's unfortunate there. He's gone to serve his drive-thru. He's got a tenner for speeding in the pit lane. Hoping that's at least for his sake, or I'm hoping for at least his sake that served his drive-through. Yes, it has. So closest battle on track at the moment is Curveball. 0.8 of a second back to Owa. Reimer's got 9 over Damon. Damon's got almost 10 to Manson. Manson's got 10 to Milla. Milla's got 5 to Owa. And Owa's got about half a second here to Curveball. Closest battle on track once again. On the way into the hairpin, still 0.4. Through the spoon curve they go. And let's see if anybody gets an advantage. Oh! Well, I tell you what. That is a case in point of what may have been happening here. He's taken a lot of curb on the inside of the spoon corner, that final section of it. And that car has nearly went around. Well, Curveball, for his sake, has caught it. But could that be what has been happening here to result in those drivers going for spins? Although, I don't necessarily know, because that one, you know, he's in the braking phase, that second part of the corner, and then turning in. I don't believe those guys would have DNF'd from that, what approximately would have been soft hits to the wall. I don't know. Not DWCJ. Merck hit that one a ton. Jabor, unfortunately, we didn't see. Hemphead hit that wall on the outside. Exiting that final corner, he hit it a ton. The car bounced right back across the track. With a yellow flag, it appears to be the Sauber. It's Johnny Damon. He's had a slide off somewhere along the line. He's gathered it up, though. 0.8 of a second there between Owa and Curveball. We'll join them in a little bit. Right now, it's King Pro Player. He's got 0.3 to bong it. King Pro Player, what a day that he's had. And I don't mean that in a good way, I'm afraid. Sometimes you just can't avoid things like that. You know, that's a very difficult thing to oh, big slide. Good save. That's a very difficult thing to kind of have to try to regroup after. Is, you know, sometimes it's just not your day. Whose day might it be now? DWCJ? Well, he's already had a bit of an incident earlier on. Let's see if he can make up for it here by having a good one on Curveball. Not quite. I will tell you this of the... He's going to make this move on Curveball here. DRS activated. To the inside he goes. That one's not going to require too much effort there from DW. Nicely done. We'll say this as far as the opportunities I've ever had to race at the circuit. The 3 seasons of F2 I did. 2 of which... Oh, big slide for Bongit. Actually, a halfway decent save there. He's kept it off the wall. That's the most important thing. Sometimes drivers just don't like tracks specifically. I don't know what it was, but anytime I think I maybe have a 25% finishing rate at this track of all the leagues I've ever done. F2 season, F2 season, one of them. Crashed the first race, crashed the second race. Get him for 200R here. Year after, I actually won both the sprint and the feature, and then the next year I crashed both times again, and then I think the one time I did the F1 league here, I actually finished 3rd in the full wet. But it's one of those tracks that you have to practice so much that you know when you're going to have a good or bad lap. You know it off the top of your head. You make your way through that first corner, you could tell by the end of it that this is either going to suck or it's going to be halfway decent. Johnny Damon into the pit lane here. Manson stays out. And a good battle going on here for that 5th spot. Owa leads, only just. DWCJ, well, that's anticlimactic, isn't it? I was going to say around the outside. He's just pit here, Owa. Hard tires on here for Red Bull in question. Probably telling me we're about halfway through this Grand Prix. Yeah, I'd say that. Pontiac Bandit and Anyote, they're going to be pitting here, and they're going to be serving their tenors as well. That'll help them. Johnny Damon half a second now behind that of DWCJ. DW's pit oh, yeah, I was about to say, he's pit recently. That's when he had to replace the front wing. So this is, I would say, a more genuine battle here. Johnny Damon's probably going to get around DW here, being that his tires are 6 laps younger, but, you know. That was a nice shot there. Still 0.3 of a second between... They're in the pit lane, damn it. Well, when they exit the pit lane, it'll be approximately a second difference between the two. Anyways. Good battle going on track here. Johnny Damon back to DWCJ, and I'm just thinking potentially... when this move is going to happen or who makes that mistake. Well, there's the mistake for you. Johnny Damon, thankfully, Scott. Damon's had a couple of those instances today where he's really had to save that car. He's done it well there again, but potentially now is it just a system of, okay, don't touch the curbs ever. No more. Don't do it. Just stop. Because, I mean, he had that going through, where was it not too long ago? Where he had to make that huge save. I think it may have been there as well. Missed, I think only just. Reimer's actually pit just now, and he's still come out ahead, hasn't he? Is he on for a Grand Slam, Reimer? I believe that he is. Yeah. I think that's gotta be. Reimer's pit, he's led every lap. Stayed out ahead of Mr. Miller. 15 seconds. Started on pole. I mean, yeah. I mean, what a perfect way to have and win a Grand Prix that would be. 3.5 tenths here between Johnny Damon and DWCJ as they make their way into the hairpin. And for the time being, Damon's going to stay kind of put for now. Now, let's see again. This is entering the spoon curve yet again here. I'm just thinking, again, is he hitting too much curb and the car is just getting that unsettled? Yeah, look, he stayed well away from it that time. It's not necessarily helped his line through, but it's at least safe. 3/10 and actually closing. I don't think DW's had that good of a time through. And now going through 130R. DW has almost had to lift there. Damon really didn't seem to need to. DW is in the middle of the track. Damon's not going to be able to get along the left side into the braking zone. Maybe now as they exit that final corner. DRS is going to be activated here. Battery being used now for Johnny Damon. Down the pit straight they go. DW's going to block the inside. Damon files back in line and then checks out. And gets that spot. So Johnny Damon up to 3rd. Mr. Miller has actually yet to stop here, so Reimer is going to get even farther ahead of him. Two cars yet to stop, Mr. Miller and Curveball. Curveball up 10, Miller up 5. Owa plus 4, Bong plus 5. Damon plus 3. Biggest loser in the negative direction is that of Charlie Golf, down 8, as you've seen. King Pro player who has stopped. That was, of course, after the opening lap. So he'll probably need to stop again. Now appears to be a 3-car battle here for the second spot. Of course, Miller's going to have to pit here shortly. But Johnny Damon is certainly going to be helped along, as we do have Charlie Golf and Bong It. Charlie Golf has actually dispatched Bong It there, going through. Dunlop and in towards Deckner 1. Shame I didn't see that. Good-looking move, I'm sure. Back to the battle for second. A 10th of a second now, Johnny Damon. Does he place that car alongside the McLaren? No, and I think he realizes that McLaren needs to pit as well. He'd rather have this one, I think, without having to try ridiculously hard for. He's going to get the DRS anyway. Oh, interesting. Damon's now got the fastest lap. 131. 138. That's about 2/10, a tenth and a half clear of Reimer. And Reimer now having already stopped. Fresh tires. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to get that one back. I mean, never doubt Reimer. He's a wizard when it comes to driving these F1 cars, but that's a really tough situation. If Reimer doesn't get the Grand Slam, it's going to be because of Johnny Damon. Oh, it's Charlie Golf has spun it round. That's exiting the final corner, and it looks as again he's probably done that on his own. We've seen a couple of cars get a bit loose through that section of the track today. I'm just wondering, yeah, as he had a bit of oversteer there. See, will Pontiac Bandit face that same kind of thing? It's always getting on throttle right about there. That car really just wants to go around. Despite the slight differences in tires, DWCJ still within halfway decent range here on Johnny Damon. Oh, and Johnny Damon's gone around. Oh, and again. Johnny Damon, oh, into the barriers. Oh, and that car is done. He tried to keep it off the barriers, and this time we get a full safety car. He's tried his damnedest to keep that one off the barriers. He wasn't able to do it. That car slid to the inside. And just when you thought Johnny Damon was going to have a memorable day here, as it turns out, it's one to forget. That is so unfortunate there. We're down to 11 cars in this Grand Prix, but what I will say is this, 10 laps left to go. Anything can happen now. Soft tires are going to be on for the lot of them, I'm sure. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Reimer, of course, has a... Well, Reimer... Well, has Reimer stayed out, or is he more or less been bitten by the safety car there and has not been able to stop in time? That would be my question. He's got a 37-some-odd gap to the cars behind. That's easily a pit stop, and those cars behind him will pretty much, I would think, have to stay under Delta. Yeah, definitely going to have to stay under Delta here. So, Reimer may end up getting the free pit stop. He can get those soft tires and kind of be back on his way to taking the fastest lap and getting his Grand Slam back. Question is now, are we going to see Reimer pit? I'm assuming we will. Oh, maybe not. Yep, he will. Does he get across the line? Still in the lead? No, he's lost his Grand Slam, hasn't he? He's not been able to lead the lap. Oh, that's so unfortunate there, but it absolutely needed to happen. Onto the softs for Reimer, and, well, again, I have to question, did he make the decision late, or was he already past the the pit lane entry. I would assume it's the second option, because anybody would have pit for softs there, I think. I don't know, I certainly would have. But hey, what that might mean is this. That may reinsert King Pro Player back into the mix here, as well as maybe even Charlie Golf. Well, King Pro Player definitely in it, I would say. What's interesting I'm seeing now is that the majority of these guys have actually taken the mediums under this stop. I was more thinking they were going to look to take the softs, especially considering, you know, once we get done with the safety car, we'll only have probably 7-6 laps of racing left. But no, they've chosen the mediums. So, where does that leave us? That puts DWCJ atop the table. Mr. Miller in second. Curveball, plus 12 positions. He didn't even get a time on the board in quali. Up 12 positions to third. Manson fourth. Reimer fifth. King Pro Player sixth. King Pro getting himself back into position now. Owa seventh. Pontiac Bandit eighth. Bong at ninth. Charlie Golf 10th. And 11th is Anyute. Charlie Golf on the softs. Although I will say he's probably wearing them out quite well now. Trying to get back to the tail end of the grid. Assuming the safety car will stay out at least one more time after this. Usually on this track, it's usually around the sector 2 to 3 timing line there. You see it right, we'll come up on it in a second here, I'm sure. Usually at about that line, that's when the game decides to bring the safety car in or keep it out for another lap. I think we're going to be okay and have it in. Let's see, what does the game decide? And it has told it to stay out one more time. I don't think the Red Bull was close enough there to warrant it coming in. Oh, never mind. It's made a rather late decision there, but a decision nonetheless. Safety car in this time by DWCJ is going to try to stack him up going through the chicane. Oh, that's a car off at the back. That was either Pontiac Bandit or Charlie Golf or Anyute. Somebody has really stepped out of line there. Had to slam on the brakes. Oh, look at this. Oh, DWCJ going back and forth. Somebody's lost a bit of the front wing. I'm not sure who it was. Somebody has checked up there big time and has resulted in front wing being lost, and it's Curveball. Has Curveball gone into the back of the McLaren of Mr. Miller? I'm not too sure what that was. DWCJ did all he could to stack up the grid for as long as he could. Well, this has gotten weird now, Reimer. Not very often you see him make a mistake. That car nearly went haywire going through the first bit of the S's there. Right up against the back of our Manson. Oh, right, definitely up against the back of him there. King Pro Player to the inside. Oh, contact again. Potentially some flashbacks happening for King Pro Player. He's going to kind of back out of that one, thankfully. This is getting odd, man. You have to think as Reimer and Manson. Reimer's gotten around Manson going through the hairpin. King Pro Player's going to try to look for the inside. Maybe if he gets away good on acceleration. Yes, he has. Around the outside they go. Side by side through 200R. King Pro Player. Yeah, he's definitely having that one up. The inside of the spoon curve, that may not help him. Heavy over the curb. Curveball's gone wide. Oh, big snap from Curveball. He may get himself in between the two Mercedes here. Yes, he does. King Pro's going to have him on the inside, though. No, King Pro Player's not going to attack that. He's not close enough. And look at this. Nearly 3 abreast here, heading into 130R. Side by side, Charlie Golf to the inside of Owa, backs out. Bong it now, going to try the right side. Laid on the brakes. Oh, he's going to collide with the McLaren. The DRS enabled now. Side by side, Bong it and Anyute heading down the pit straight. Won't have DRS until next time by. Looks as if the Red Bull's going to clear him, at least for now. And does. King Pro Player gets a round Curveball there. Curveball, he's missing that bit of front wing as well. I think will he have some sort of steward claim against Mr. Militia? Mr. Militia. I've called him that about 5 times now. Mr. Miller. Pontiac Bandit's got a tenner for speeding in the pit lane. That's surely going to be his day done. Oh, look at this. Charlie Golf to the left side of Owa. Owa's going to have to take a bit of a weird line through Degner 1 and 2. I think he's kept it all right there. Kind of thought as they were going to have to resort themselves that they were going to have to take a bit of an unorthodox line through. It's not been the case. Owa now accelerates. Manson's going to get a little bit better on the outside. Left 6 laps to go with the line this time by. Into the spoon curve they go, and again, Curveball's had to go wide. That car is struggling See, he's got a 2-second disadvantage back now. 10th and a half. Manson trying the right side. Curveball's going to float back. Staying within the slipstream here. Oh, look at Charlie Golf. Golf is going for it on the inside. Heavy over the curb. A little bit of contact with the Aston Martin there. Thankfully, he's held it together. In through the chicane they go. Anyute, 3-second penalty for him. Fortunately, now Reimer with the fastest lap, but his case for a Grand Slam is done. Charlie Golf heavy over the curb. Oh, he's kept it somehow. He's going to push wide in the second phase of the corner, and he's going to end up losing that spot to Curveball. Good battle here going on in the midfield. Bonget's missing a bit of his front wing as well. Is that some missing? Yeah, that is some missing for Owa. A couple of cars missing some front wing here in the later stages of the race. Anyute, yeah, he's missing some too. All of them jostling for position here. Reimer's got about 7.5 tenths back to Milla. At the line this time will be 5 laps to go. Charlie Golf could have a look at Curveball now. I think he's a little bit too far back to be able to make that happen. Oh, Curveball's going to push way wide. Comes back out on track. Maybe a little contact there. Oh, and he's nearly gone into the path of Owa. That was almost disastrous. Two and a half tenths of a second now, Reimer. Back to Milla. Does he have a look now to the inside? DRS activated as well. New fastest lap. Actually now set by King Pro player. Battery being used. Reimer now about second shy of DWCJ. Also on the soft tires. Mano-a-mano for the win of the Grand Prix here. We'll wait and see how that plays out. Owa to the inside. Curveball around the outside. Curveball's going to take that one. And that car, well, I think again, has a little bit of difficulty. And is actually going to lose 2 spots then. Both to Owa and to Bonget. Back to 9th. Charlie Golf now 3.5, 4 tenths back. R. Manson. Up through Dunlop they go. And still yet for the time being. King Pro player 3/10 of a second behind Mr. Miller here. Looking for a double podium for the Mercedes team. He's on the medium tires as well. Well, Miller's on the mediums as well. Side by side, down the back straight they go. Heading in through 130R. Coming up next, they better sort this out quickly. King Pro player's going to get there. Nicely done. Reimer's got himself within 7.5, 8/10 of a second of DWCJ. It's being for the win of the Grand Prix. 4 laps to go. 6/10 or less down the pit straight. DW chooses the inside, swerves a little bit, trying to break the toe. He's lost about 2/10 of a second in doing so. See, some people, a lot of people, as Charlie Golf gets down on Manson there, a lot of people will actually swerve quite a lot to be able to try to break the toe. You got to realize that the more you swerve, the more that hurts you in the straight line as well. So DWCJ there, I think if he just kind of moved a little bit instead of as erratically he did, he probably wouldn't have lost as much. He's lost probably net 4/10 of a second after that, because now Reimer's right on his doorstep here. In through Degner 1 and 2. When we come to the line next time by, it will be 3 laps to go. Oh, DWCJ into the grass on the outside. I don't know what that was necessarily, but that car's gone a little bit wide. Mr. Miller's been kind of exiled from podium territory here, it seems. We got a 3-car battle for the win of the Grand Prix, 2 of which on the same team. Leading the drivers, leading the constructors. DWCJ is really the only man standing in between the 2 Mercedes cars. Matter of fact, I think it actually is both Mercedes atop the driver standings. Yes, it is. DW actually not all that far behind King Pro player, let's be real, but Reimer will take DWCJ around the outside. DW went way down low to the pit wall again. And has rather stood no chance then from Reimer. But now let's see if King Pro Playa... King Pro Player, not Playa. I just am having a rough time with the names tonight. I apologize. King Pro Player, let's see if he can get round DWCJ. But, I was going to think that Charlie Golf was going to be challenging his teammate. Charlie Golf and King Pro Player, by the way, let's point this out. What a rebound effort it's been for them, as we have Anyote who's gone around there. What a rebound effort it's been for them so far today. Golf is still going to be down negative, net -3 positions, but still. 6 positions gained for Bongit, 6 for Curveball, 5 for Owa. King Pro Player 2/10 behind DWCJ at the line this time, 2 laps to go. Our Manson's actually within a little bit of range here on Charlie Golf. Could that be a move? Let's look now. King Pro Player trying it round the outside. Down the back straight they go. Mr. Miller watches on and hopes for a mistake. DWCJ is going to tuck back in line there. Bong at about 3/10 back to Owa. I don't believe he's going to have any look this time by 2 laps to go now. Well, maybe he will. Side by side looking for the chicane. No, not quite. Mr. Miller's actually gotten himself back within DRS range here. Well, at least he did. Oh, and look at this! They've had a big one here! King Pro Player and DWCJ, something has happened up ahead in the track, resulting in the Alpine going round. I think maybe did he try to go on the inside? He took too much curb. The car shot up the track. That much we do know. Wow. That puts Milla back to the 3rd spot. DWCJ, that car spun violently away. Thankfully, he's gathered it and doesn't appear to be having any damage. We saw him on the inside. And we've seen that at least once or twice today, where cars really want to take that inside through turn 1. And then they get unsettled over the curb and the car just slides up the corner. I think maybe is that what's happened there with DW. Well, Bungets nearly missed the braking zone there. Nearly took the Red Bull with him. .6 of a second. It's all pretty much up to the 2 Mercedes drivers now, as we're about to begin the final lap of the Grand Prix. What I will say is this: Reimer might be in some pressure here because he's on those soft tires. They're surely getting to the end of their lifespan. Down the pit straight they go for the final time. DRS activated, and I don't think King Pro Player is necessarily going to be close enough to make this one happen. In through turn 1, no, not quite. R. Manson, will he have a look at Charlie Golf here, heading in the first corner as we have a yellow flag. Bongit's gone round. Manson's going to choose the outside. Bold decision that. It's not really helped him unless Charlie pushes way wide, which he's really not. Still about half a second here between 2 Mercedes drivers atop the table. King Pro Player nearly lost it going over the Dunlop curve that time. That one was a little risky. 0.3 of a second now. I tell you what, maybe is... No team orders here, potentially. 0.2 of a second. I tell you what, these guys are going to battle for it now. R. Manson. Oh, Charlie Golf has gone round. I believe that may have been on his own, exiting Degner too. Not too sure. Oh, but look at this. The 2 Mercedes side by side. King Pro Player has gone around Reimer. And look at this, side by side again. They've made contact. Reimer's gone round. Wow, and look at this. Reimer's going to drop to 3rd. This is incredible. Barcelona 2016 or whatever the hell it was. Eat your heart out. King Pro Player, I don't even know what to say. Mercedes, he's won, but at what cost is all I can say about that one. Mr. Miller's finished 3rd. Great race from him, up 4 positions. What a turn of events that was. I am dumbfounded, actually. Just totally bizarre. And hey, be sure to join us next time out when we head to Miami for the 10th round on calendar this season, the CCRL. For Hotspot, it's been a pleasure joining you here, and we'll see you next time. Oh my goodness, what a race.